All right, everyone. On this Dynamite Wednesday, where Dynamite is going to be 4 hours, and I won't be able to watch the entire thing because I have to work tomorrow. So I'll have to watch the end tomorrow. This is Pop Culture Punch Out with Zorgog, and this is our 100th episode with you. Thank you, all of you who tune in and listen to our shenanigans and our nonsense repeatedly. We appreciate it. So, plenty to talk about tonight. As I said the other day, it's going to be wrestling centric. We're putting together, obviously, our football talks because preseason starts soon. Teams are already working out. Things are going on. And then we're going to get into Stranger Things Season 5 talk because the episode release dates have been released, and we'll get into that. Some of our theories, some things that Bo and I would love to see them do. To end this, you got to, as they say, tie up all the loose ends, I would think, for the story of Hawkins, right? Hawkins, Indiana, home of our Colts, but that's Indianapolis. But it is in Indiana, and they do call the town Hawkins. At any rate, welcome to the show. We're also streaming on YouTube, so this will be available there as well. Let us know how it comes out. Everything seemed to look good when I did a small test run yesterday. So we're going to talk about first things first, obviously. We'll get it out of the way. It's the Mariah May debut on NXT. Julie June has made her debut. I don't know what they're going to name her, but it is not Mariah May because, heaven forbid, she came over from AEW.
Yeah.
So nothing she did there matters, and she has to go to developmental in front of 250 people in a storage unit.
Yeah.
To debut on a balcony where Ricky Starks, Taint Saints, you might as well call him Ricky Taints, Ricky Saints debuted. So to me, Bo, the obvious thing that is going to happen is she's going to, to the best of my knowledge, she's going to be essentially fast-tracked to the NXT Women's title.
Yeah.
And
which they've been doing with that title now over and over.
Yeah, they're hot potatoing the shit out of that thing. It's like everybody that goes to the main roster has to hold it at least once, apparently, except Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
Who is one of the younger of the women and most experienced in wrestling as far as United States-based wrestling. So, I mean, it was a debut. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
It was, oh, there she is. She's up in the balcony, and this is what she's wanted the whole time. I was pretty active on X today talking about this with people, and, I could easily trash Mariah here for doing what she did, but that's low-hanging fruit. So where the thing that I'm going to attack in this situation is actually going to be the person in charge of paying people.
Yeah.
The person in charge of contracts. The person who has been, since 2019, the most vocal individual for AEW. And that is Tony Khan.
Yeah.
What Tony needs to really do from here on out, because now he's been burned twice. This was terrible because it's just a horrible look for AEW, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because what it does, Bo, it set a precedent now.
Yeah.
They pulled her off of the active roster page on AEW this weekend, and then yesterday she debuts in NXT.
Yeah.
So this is why non-compete clauses are in contracts.
Yeah.
This is why. But on the other hand, this is why Tony Khan has not televised her since she lost the third match in the trilogy with Tony Storm. So you've got to understand the business aspect of this. I'm not going to send someone over there hot. So she was definitely cooled off.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have the Fed stands that are going to come out and pretend they've known her since Stardom. She's been wrestling, Bo, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
She's not had a long career. Okay? She's had a good career, I would say, but the problem is in WWE, they're going to expect you to not really know who she is and where she was.
Yeah.
They don't want that to be out. And this does go back to Vince Russo has said this, Jim Cornette said this, and I know my fellow AEW brethren don't like those two guys who don't like each other. But I, for one, am a huge fan of Jim Cornette. I don't care what anybody says. He knows a lot about this business. And if Tony Khan would have brought someone like him in as at least a consultant, they might have gotten the don't gatekeep thing a lot earlier than today.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. WWE believes that if you were made a star in AEW, you're not a star.
Mm-hmm.
They can't use you. They've got to rename you, at least one of your names.
Yeah.
And they have to not acknowledge your time in AEW. And also, I don't think they can mention Stardom.
No.
Because of the New Japan affiliation. So, Mariah May, for all intents and purposes, AEW fans or WWE fans that watch also AEW will know who she is. But as I posted on X earlier today, Bo, once she gets to the main roster, she will drown.
Mm.
She is not going to be anything more than a mid to upper mid-carder. It's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. She is 26. At 24, she was thrown into the hottest women's angle, perhaps ever, in wrestling, especially modern day wrestling. Women have never been given a program like that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, no. Not in years.
It's been a long, long time. And it was pivotal. And I see a lot of people online saying it made Toni Storm a huge star. No. Toni Storm made Mariah May a star.
Yeah.
She gave her the rub, and Mariah ran away with it. And now she's going to go somewhere where this is the Shark Tank, Mariah. Welcome. Nobody's going to be helping you. Nobody's going to be doing favors. Nobody's going to tell you how great you are, except the reflection you see in your mirror.
Mm.
She bought herself a cake, Bo.
That's odd.
To celebrate. That is peak Gen Z shit. It really is. No offense.
Mm.
Not all of you. But this is... She thinks that she is this huge superstar, and she's really not. And you know how I know she's not looked at that way? Because she is on NXT.
Yeah.
They don't view you as a star. Because why would they put 8 different TNA stars on NXT last night? Not only that, but you just beat Santana as well. Granted, AJ Francis and Casey Navarro interfered. Elias was in the crowd as well. There was so much interference. This is the equivalent of your overbooked indie fed that you would go to. That's what NXT was last night. So I think HBK needs to realign his eyes and figure out what they're doing. Yeah. Because last night's episode was a slop fest. Mm. I don't know what you think about it.
Especially, like, what was it? They had the The girl who won that reality show
Yeah.
first came out for JC.
Yeah, LFG, right?
And then just completely, the fuck is the point in debuting her if you're going to debut Mariah at the same time?
And see, they had to do this because what this company did, and this is one of the symptoms of the disease that is TKO and WWE.
Yeah.
What they did is they did Car Crash TV on the CW.
Yeah.
And they debuted so many people and brought in so many people from TNA and so many people from AAA.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to integrate another promotion's talent. You know who does know how to do that, though?
Yeah.
You know who knows how to do that properly? Who? Tony Khan.
Yeah.
You know who else knows how to do that properly? Court Bauer and MLW.
Yeah.
On a smaller scale. They know how to do this. They know how to work with New Japan, CMLL, Stardom.
WWE sees it as, I'm just going to take all their talent to use them on my TV.
And by the way, WWE, if you're smart, leave AJ Francis where he is. Take KC Navarro. Because we saw him coming up on the Indies in the Northeast. That kid is good.
And then, like, of all people, like, AAA's roster is ass. The more that I look at it, like, Aerostar is one of their best ones.
And he's old, I think, too.
He's got to be in his late 30s.
I'm not 100% on that. Like,
he was in Lucha Underground when he was in his 20s.
Like, Aerostar, please don't hate me if I'm, like, age-shaming you or whatever. I'm also old. So I really... It's not a shot. I'm just saying I think you're old. So I'm looking you up right now, pal. You hear me typing. Because I don't... And what is Mr. Iguana? He has an iguana on his hand.
It's a puppet iguana.
Yeah, like, okay, hi, Mankind and Sako. Very good. So, born in 1984. So, yeah, he's in his 40s. Basically, best known in the States from Lucha Underground because everyone's going to pretend that they watch AAA all the time now, but they don't. He's 40 years old. So, it is what it is. He's gonna do the thing. They're gonna use him. He's mainly going to stick in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Because I think he's on the wrong side of 35 for them to try and make him their big Mexican star. And this is the same problem they have with Pentagon. Why do I have the feeling, Bo? Not even 2 Raw thoughts on Raw yet. Why do I have the feeling that El Grande Americano may win Money in the Bank and cash it in because as Chad Gable, he's getting a mega championship shot against El Hijo del Vikingo. But
as El
Grande Americano, he can win the title. Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of like nonsensical booking that WWE will get into.
And Triple H has gone on record saying he doesn't like Money in the Bank, so him using it as a throwaway would make a lot of sense.
Him using it as a comedy thing would be what he does. And him still using Chad Gable in a comic role, even though he's the leader of a faction.
And one of the best wrestlers you have.
They re-signed the guy because they didn't want him going to AEW, which is obviously where he was going to go. Mm. That's the other place that can pay you. And on a side note, TK needs to stop paying more than WWE because that's why these people sign. You're paying an outlandish amount of money for someone to wrestle 2 to 3 times a week. Mm. What are they going to say? No. I don't know how much Mariah May was getting, but clearly she was only signed for 2 years because her debut was in 2023 and it's June of 2025. So do you think they should change her last name every month?
Like it's Mariah May, Mariah March, Mariah June.
Yeah, right now she's Julie June.
I don't even know if they're going to have her keep Mariah because normally she has it's all about Mariah catchphrase, and she didn't say that. She just kept saying glamorous.
She didn't really say much. They just said glamorous because they can't. But it's IP though. Like unless TK.
It also it's
trademarked the glamour.
Not even that. Mariah May is her actual name. Like, that is her government name.
Oh, yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not going to let her use. Definitely not both, but you're right. In my estimation, they're probably not going to let her use either.
Yeah.
So that's Aerostar. He's 40. Sorry. Sorry to be an ageist. It's not. I'm also old, Aerostar, so take your shots at me.
Yeah.
Listen, NXT was it was a clusterfuck. Let's just fucking be honest here. There's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
That was too much to fucking cram into largely an uninteresting 2 hours.
Yeah.
JC Jane, you are going to expect anybody to suspend disbelief to where this chick is going to beat Mariah when they fight.
Yeah.
There is no way she's beating Mariah May. And the only reason they would have her do that is Hunter's ego.
Yeah.
Because he would have her, you're taking your first loss. Right?
Yeah.
So there we go. We spent enough on Julie. We spent enough on Julie January. So she's over in NXT. Yay. Once she gets to the main roster, good luck. Because you're not even the 10th best wrestler on the main roster. They just called up Roxanne, Julia, Vicor. Jordan Grace is going to SmackDown next. You've already got Charlotte, who doesn't like sharing the spotlight. You got Becky, who's not good, but she's married to Seth Rollins, who's a Triple H guy, so she's going to see favor.
Yeah.
You got Lyra Velcro. I didn't name her. She's a better wrestler than Mariah May. Can't talk, but she's a better wrestler.
Yeah.
And like I said on X, I've seen far superior wrestlers to Mariah May, women's wrestlers, not be successful on the main roster. Men, too. For some reason, there's this big disconnect when someone goes from NXT to the main roster.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of these people are ready to be in that position in WWE. Because WWE is looked at in a whole other light because of their time served, essentially. They've been around since the WWF. I mean, they were in the old school territory days.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we've been watching the Mr. McMahon documentary. Riveting. This guy, I've never seen someone accused of so many heinous things in his life play the victim so well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this dude he's not self-aware at all.
He's so disconnected.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's a complete disconnect between reality and him.
Yeah.
So there's that. We have Nick Khan in TKO news and WWE. Nick Khan sold more than 28,000 shares of TKO holding stock. That was about $4.1 million. John Laurinaitis has turned stooge witness, and Nick Khan was one of the top executives mentioned in the suit.
Yeah.
I've got to think this is for legal counsel. And Hunter's probably not that far behind.
Yep.
And it's right now it's guilt by association. They're looking at the whole family right now. Shane has, I think, pretty much successfully distanced himself from his father. Because he seems more like the guy who's like, he was talking to Tony Khan. They had a great meeting. He just wanted more power than Tony was willing to surrender.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, considering, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is this guy a weasel dick? Like, is he going to come in and try and usurp power from you?
Yeah.
To sell you to his father's company. Essentially, that's always with a McMahon. That's always got to be on the back of your mind.
Yeah.
So then we have TKO in about 3.1 billion. That's 3.1 billion with a B as in boy of debt.
Yeah.
Their Q4 earnings were horrible. The report was horrible. Shareholders are not happy. They're really not happy. And that's where these R-Truth, Carlito, Valhalla, nay Sarah Logan.
Yeah.
And there will be more.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they are gouging WWE fans for ticket packages. Like $40,000 tickets to SummerSlam. But it's for both nights. And you get to sit and have dinner with Xavier Woods' trumpet. Or trombone or whatever it is that he plays. Is that a trumpet or a trombone? I forgot. Yeah,
trombone.
Now that he's a heel, I don't think he does it anymore.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so you get to have dinner with his trombone for $40,000, and you get to take the chairs home that you sit in.
Yeah,
that's great. That's one chair. $40,000.
Like, is it autographed by the entire fucking roster?
I mean, does that even matter at this point? $40,000. Listen, I can buy 2 cars for $40,000, and those are decent cars. I'm not buying wrestling tickets. I'm not spending more, Bo, than $150 on a premier wrestling event per ticket.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my limit. No mas. I'm done. They're using WWE to price gouge their fans. And
it's working.
Yeah. And try to offset this fucking debt that they're in by also releasing people. This isn't over. This is far from over. I would expect probably a third of the AAA roster will be let go.
Yeah.
Conan's one of them. Stuck. What goes around comes around, right, Conan? Get ready, pal. Your partner from 3 Live Crew ain't going to save you this time.
Mm-hmm. Road
Dogg can't pull you out because he's treading water. Because, by the way, SmackDown, unopposed by any other major event. 1.3 million viewers. 1.3. This time last year on Fox, 2.7 million. Raw, global views for May 26th, down another 100,000 to 2.6 million. Ebbs and flows, Bo. We talk about the ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to flow down to Collision. Up 150,000 viewers to 504,000 viewers at fucking, 11 o'clock on a Saturday night? Maybe they should stick with that time.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is? I think it's like this, dude. It's on later. People are getting home if they're going out. And if they turn on the TV, Collision's on. If they're into it, they're going to leave it on. Mm-hmm. And kind of wind the evening down. You know what I mean? If you're a wrestling fan, you're going to come home from, if you go to a concert or you had a sporting event, come home, pop the TV on, you want to wind down, have a drink, eat something, you're going to watch wrestling. This is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock opposing major sports playoffs on a Saturday night is not ideal.
Yeah.
It's also not ideal because college football season is fastly approaching. So, and this college football season, Bo, we are going to have a lot of material. This is going to be a very, very highly watched college football season. Mm-hmm. We got Arch Manning starting for Texas. So we got the Longhorns, we got Penn State, Ohio State. Those could be the 2 for the championship next year. Or you could see Texas, Penn State, or Texas, Ohio State. This is going to be a very big year for NCAA college football.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking a lot about that during the season. Ad nauseum, I think.
Yeah.
Then we have my raw thoughts on Raw. So here's what I'm going to say. The show was mid at best.
Yeah.
Why are you not giving me CM Punk versus AJ Styles one-on-one? I know you're doing the triple threats for final entrance to the men's and women's Money in the Bank, which you hate, Triple H. But this is the first time in 21 years those two have been in a ring together.
Mm-hmm.
Agree or disagree with me, Bo? Am I crazy for saying they could have put on a singles match and hit 5 stars on Meltzer's star ratings?
Yeah.
And I don't even give a fuck about star ratings. But
Yeah.
I'm saying I think one-on-one in 2025, these two guys in their 40s that can still go at a considerably, not at the highest level, but at a considerably high level.
Yeah.
But, I mean, El Grande Americano won. Would Chad Gable have won?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Probably not. Oh, and they showed Vikingo on NXT, too. So they're just, like, chock full of everything in this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I got a guy petting his arm. Psycho Clown's going to be at Worlds Collide, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the event.
It's just back to my raw thought. That was one. The second one, where the fuck is Ludwig Kaiser?
I don't know. He kind of just vanished.
He hasn't been on TV since the whole Charlotte Flair thing.
And call me if I'm incorrect, but now there's Gunther.
Yeah. So are these two about to be endeavored? By Endeavor.
If they do, I'm taking them both instantly. I'm sorry, those are two where I don't give a fuck.
I would more, again, call it bias, call me crazy. I'm taking Ludwig over Gunther if they're both available.
See, I'm taking Walter.
I'm telling you, so Ludwig's younger. Ludwig has very, very high upside. Nothing against Gunther.
I just bring them in together.
But I can't rail against older wrestlers coming in and then say take the older guy over the younger guy.
Yeah.
But if you do take them, 3 years at least, Tony. Stop with the bullshit fucking 3 years with a option for a 4th year where the person can now openly negotiate behind your back with the competition.
Because here's my thing. Ludwig, you can work into a lot of good things. Walter is world heavyweight fucking material. You could strap any belt to him and it just works. He is the most imposing.
You're going to go toe-to-toe with me on this. Because Ludwig is a main title guy. My voice cracked.
I see him as a main title guy. I see him after he's ironed out a little bit more. I think he really needs to, like... I think part of the problem is the character that WWE gives him now, especially without Walter, just doesn't really work.
But they're not broken up.
Yeah.
Which is weird, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But, yeah, I mean, Ludwig, I could see him, honestly, tell me when I'm telling lies. The Don Callis family.
Yeah.
100%, and I can see him leading it.
Now, am I crazy for thinking if you get Ludwig and you get Walter, of putting them with Ospreay?
No, you're not crazy.
and having a new, like, British, like, an American United Empire.
Basically. But I think you gotta add 2 more to that and a mouthpiece.
Call me crazy, but the TV is heading in this direction. I think if and when Ospreay eventually turns heel, he's going to get his United Empire back. I think he's going to get Fletcher back because Fletcher's starting to get pissed that the Callis family is getting in his way.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to stay heel. But it's going to be the type of thing where he's like, I don't need you.
I think it's going to be a little, like if I'm fantasy booking that, here's how I would do it. Tell me what you think. I have them turn on Takeshita because he's having to sit here while Fletcher gets all these fucking flowers and big matches, and he's in trios matches, right? So I would have the Don Callis family basically either Takeshita gets turned on, then he doesn't have to do a face turn, Bo. He can go with Ospreay.
Yeah.
And join the United Empire. And I think, so Carl Fredericks, Eddie Thorpe is a free agent now, too.
Yeah, he is.
I think he should go back to New Japan for a bit, but he can be thrust into a more prominent role. Whatever happened to Alex Coughlin?
I don't know.
He was going to WWE, then I don't think he went. So I know that New Japan re-upped Clark Connors, so he's still there. But yeah, I think either or. I don't know that I would put Fletcher back with Ospreay this soon after that fucking cage match.
Yeah.
Maybe a year from now. Maybe. But do you think they're going to turn Ospreay, or do you think they're going to turn Swerve? Because they're heading for a match at All In against each other.
Ospreay.
Yeah.
I think where this is all leading is the slow burn that Ospreay is trying so hard to be the good guy. And all these people who are shitty, fucking, terrible human beings are all getting in the limelight, getting everything they want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to cause him to snap. Where it's like, all right, so you have John Moxley is the fucking world heavyweight champion when he's tried to murder people.
Hey.
When he's done so many things, he's invaded Japan, killed every young boy in that company. You have Swerve Strickland, who broke into a man's house, threatened his family, and you're
Well, he didn't threaten his family. He looked at his baby. I mean, I'm not making any excuses for him.
Has in Swerve the whole time as he's always had this cocky heel attitude.
Yeah.
And then now I have Hangman, who just beat me in the tournament after he just burned a person's childhood home down. Retired more than one wrestler.
And keeps that footage in his entrance.
Yeah.
Trying to be a sympathetic babyface.
And now all of a sudden he's good? But here I am. I banned myself from using a move because I almost retired a guy who the crowd loved, even though I should have fucking just killed him right then and there. I have screwed myself match after match after match because I cared about the sport that I was doing. There is no way in hell Ospreay is not turning heel. And when he does, he is going to be the best heel.
Then you're gonna every big faction is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But New Japan did that, and the
heel
heels
factions just work.
Well, they go against each other too, which is good. I like that.
My big thing is with heels, the numbers game always works with a heel group.
Yes, because there's a reason.
Yeah,
there's a reason why. What I need a company to do is I need a company to do what Jim Crockett Promotions would do in the 80s, in the golden era. Like with the Four Horsemen, they all have titles. I need a dominant heel faction. That a bunch of random elevated baby faces are chasing each member. So that what you do, you build multiple storylines. It seems WWE can't build more than one good storyline at a time. The Bloodline, and now we're into the Heyman family.
Yeah.
And it seems like Tony Khan can get like 2 or 3 going, but they fizzle at a point. You know what I mean? Like the Death Riders, where they had that month-long, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like you're taking my favorite character, and whoever you got booking the Death Riders is booking them into oblivion. And now they're back. Mox is getting cheered again.
Yeah.
This All In's gotta... This has to be... Crowd size, I don't give a shit. This has to be a phenomenal pay-per-view from start to finish. You fucking booked Mariah May's AEW women's title run like shit while you made the TBS title with Monet seem like the main title.
Mm-hmm.
That is part of what TK did too. There's that. When you go back and you look, you'll see it. Monet had better opponents, aside from Britt Baker, lined up for her TBS title run.
Which I don't know if you saw the shade Monet threw recently. She talked about how this will be her first ever All In. And people were trying to be like, but you wrestled Britt Baker. She's acting like it never happened.
So, and Monet, if she does the JOB to Timeless Tony, that rhymed. You got that?
I feel like she'll earn an utmost amount of respect from the crowd.
Yes. If she goes over, I don't know what you're going to do. What are you going to do? Now both titles are on her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've gone from getting interim champions during injuries and brawl outs to now someone's going to run around with both women's titles. That's not a good idea. Beat her at All In. Then, directly following at the next pay-per-view, Athena beats her for the TBS title. Because that will be what she has left. Then I would have her lose Rev Pro and the other title she also has. Lose them all. And then she'll see what Toni Storm meant with the promo last week, where you have all the titles, but I only need one.
Yeah, I have the one.
And there you go. That is a long-term storytell. And guess what? She doesn't even have to beat Toni Storm to get it. Toni could lose it to someone else along the way, and Mercedes picks it up, and then they run it back where Timeless Toni is the challenger and Mercedes is the champion. If you're gonna do it, and guys, I am not a big Monet fan at all, but if you're gonna push her to upper part of the card, you got to do something with her. If she gets hurt again, that's the rest of her AEW deal.
Yeah.
And then we all know Tony Khan not good at re-signing people.
The only other thing I could think is in this month leading up to All In, she loses the TBS.
I don't know, though. I don't know that you can beat her in a match on TV and then have her credibly beat Toni Storm.
Unless it's Tony screwing her.
I mean, yeah, you could
prove
do that.
Only one title matters.
But Tony's a babyface, though. Or is she?
Although, you say that, but I think back to Punk against MJF.
Yeah.
To start the year, he started MJF 0-1 by just socking Lee Johnson across the face to disqualify MJF.
Yeah. But that wasn't for a title. That was just for the feud, you know? So either is good. It needs to be a big... They have not, to this day, wowed me like last year's Revolution, Sting's retirement.
Yeah.
I remember that show. I remember everything that happened on that show.
Yeah.
It was a very important pay-per-view. The buy rate was insane. They sold out North Carolina. Their press was everywhere. You need a spectacle like that. You need to... And this is where AEW is needed in the world of wrestling.
Prove that you are the other major company.
Prove that you can be the alternative and also be traditional wrestling.
Yeah.
Prove everybody wrong. You know what I mean? But in general, the AEW people that are only AEW,
yeah,
let people watch the product.
Yeah, I saw Tony Khan post because somebody was getting upset and saying we need to gatekeep AEW, and he was like, no.
That's not how business works. You need to make money. So this is the other thing. So there's another prominent figure in media that just lost his bonus was voted down by shareholders. That would be one David Zaslav of Warner Brothers Discovery because of their money losses. Mr. One Bill Phil
Yeah.
himself, there was a vote, and the shareholders said, you don't deserve a bonus.
Yeah.
You lost the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, say what you will. Basketball is really, to me, ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not into it. But it's a big ad revenue generator, and it's guaranteed at least 1.5 million people to 5 million, depending on what team is there. Obviously, the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals for the NBA, those are two small market teams. So that's not going to be like a huge, oh my God, it's the Lakers and LeBron and the Celtics or the Bulls or, So it's not going to be gangbusters, but that's a big loss. Especially when you could put an NBA game on, move Dynamite to 9 or 10 p.m., and the lead-in is insane from the basketball game. Especially if you lead in with a guy like Swerve or Blake Christian.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Blake Christian was responsible for over 1 million viewers on Collision. It's on his tights, so it's not a lie. Now people are talking. You'll see it up on the screen share here. Karrion Kross's contract situation. So it's unknown, but he has been very vocal about R-Truth and Carlito now too. This is the time, guys. And not that I'm saying don't speak your mind, but when they're letting people go, you might not want to be the guy or girl who says, this is the hill that my career is going to die on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's killed because EC3's putting something together, Cross, and I know you're with Control of the Narrative.
Yeah.
But we've seen where that road leads once before, and you went right back to WWE. So, and then the Good Brothers, I saw a quote by them.
Yeah.
Saying it's not WWE anymore, it's TKO. So,
makes sense.
And they are getting rid of older talent. So
yeah, now according to Fightful, Karrion Kross has a few months left, and WWE is looking to not renew him.
That's what they're going to do. So everyone's bagging on TK for not renewing.
Yeah.
But TKO is doing the same thing. But is it TKO or is it Triple H? It depends who you talk to. Like if it's a bad move, Triple H, well, we had to cut budget and shit like that, but whatever. Kross would be good. I think you could definitely give him things to do. I think he'll go the route of if he's not renewed, he hits MLW and New Japan first.
Yeah.
And then maybe, because Mox said he would get him in AEW anytime. Because he said Killer Kross owes him another match. So I could see him in AEW. Is he a little older? He's closer to 40, right?
I think he's closer to 40.
Yeah. Someone who we never saw in AEW that is EC3, which shocks me to this day. Because if any one place where he could have creative control, but it's monitored creative control, that would let him do what he's doing currently in the NWA, weirdly. Because I don't think the NWA knows how to book a show from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's fucking... You saw what I was watching, the review of their last show. What the hell was that title match? I don't even know what was going on. That was like, it was like a fever dream, Broken Hardy universe match.
Yeah.
But if you did like peyote and then had the match, including the camera guy.
Yeah.
Clearly they only have one camera too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like with this weird shift, like when you're making a shitty movie in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that kind of fucking filming. I was like, what are you doing? So got an update here on Wardlow. So he is shooting a TV role. He was backstage at Revolution. There was no intent on putting him on the show, but he just wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So he was there to watch the show. He was dealing with a torn labrum.
So he's out for a while.
So this dates back to the spring of 24. Then he was in the car accident, which was legit.
Yeah.
But that didn't injure him. He was injured prior.
Yeah.
So TK and Wardlow had a meeting, and they agreed on him returning to AEW television after this role is filmed. So you don't bring him back, and then he has to leave for like 2 months again. Makes sense. Want to bring him back, but when you bring him back, just push this guy. Okay? Because you'll lose him. Telling you'll lose him, and he's the prototypical.
He's one who will actually do good in WWE.
He's a guy that WWE will bring in, and they will market him as the new Lesnar.
Yeah, they'll be like, holy shit, now we have him and Braun.
Yeah. So I would watch out. And Deonna Purrazzo is dealing with scoliosis. She says it doesn't hold her back much. But hopefully, like, I could see why she's not on as much. If that is the case, you don't want to literally end someone's career, but it's a shame because to me, she's the best technical wrestler on the women's roster in AEW.
Besides, like, maybe Deeb.
Yeah. So that it sucks, but at least she can still go, so that's something.
Well, at this point, I'd honestly let Deeb go, now that I think about it.
Yeah. They don't really use her, and kind of Britt Baker buried her, dude.
Yeah.
And Britt Baker had no room to bury anybody, by the way, after that friggin' bomb of a match.
Poor Monet, dude.
You sandbagged Mercedes Moné. You made me feel bad for a wrestler I don't even like. Like, I'm not a Moné fan, but I'm looking
to carry the fucking.
I was like, Jesus, Britt, did you bother to chisel any of the rust off before this? And the answer is clearly no. So, Dynamite tonight, it's 4 hours. We're not going to watch the entire thing tonight, I'm sure, because there's this thing called work. I have bills to pay. But rundown, Tekla is debuting. The Hurt Syndicate is appearing. We have a trios match featuring LFI taking on Night Speed and Commander. I've called Speedball and Kevin Knight. I'm naming them Night Speed. I like to give these teams a name so that we have a fucking reference,
Yeah.
We have John Moxley versus Mark Briscoe, which what tells me this is going to turn into like some type of Falls Count Anywhere bloody mess, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
What I put an asterisk next to as the match of the night already is the tag team match with FTR against Atlantis Jr. and Templario.
Yeah.
Guys, keep your eyes on Templario. This dude is incredible from CMLL. Incredible. Got the look, everything. But speaking of CMLL, in the main event for the AEW International Championship 4-way, Kenny Omega will be defending against Brody King of the Hounds of Hell, Claudio Castagnoli, and CMLL's Mascara Dorada.
Yeah.
Another young Mexican wrestler to keep an eye on. Because this guy, I can see working AEW very often.
Yeah.
He is insane. He's going to get a chance to truly show it live tonight.
Yeah.
And then the women's tag match, Julia Hart and Sky Blue taking on Mina Storm. That's Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm with Mercedes Moné on commentary.
So Monet is obviously attacking her.
Yeah, there's obviously shenanigans. Or is she going to attack Mina to get Tony Tony's goat? Isn't it get your goat? Is that what they say? These old people. I'm oldish. I'm not fucking super old. Fuck you guys. But at any rate, so that's it with the wrestling. Unless you have anything, do you have a raw thought on Raw you'd like to throw out there?
No, their shows just always feel filler at this point.
It's like meh, and they're charging For TV tapings, they're charging ridiculous prices.
And Money in the Bank has 4 matches.
So they're going to do the men's Money in the Bank and the women's Money in the Bank are going to be probably 90 minutes of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then the tag team match.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just like...
At least do 6 or 7 matches, man.
So now I'm going to pop the screen share onto some Stranger Things because you saw the thumbnail. So clearly we're going to be talking some Stranger Things. We'd like to give a little update. So... some of the titles have been revealed, not all of them, but the release dates are going to be as such. Episodes 1 through 4 will be released on Thanksgiving. Episodes 5, 6, and 7, so 3 more episodes on Christmas Day. And the final episode, which is said to be very long, is going to be on New Year's Eve. So I want to hear Bo's wants and theories before mine, because mine are convoluted as always.
What I want is, if they're following the structure of Dungeons and Dragons, which the show kind of has been the entire time, they just kind of swap the areas where some creatures are.
Yeah.
So normally the Demogorgon is actually more powerful than a Mind Flayer, but I'm assuming with the way they did the TV show, the Mind Flayer just seemed like a more powerful creature.
Yeah.
And then Vecna. But then Vecna is a chaining command to, I think its name is Caliastrix. Which
is vampire, right?
No, a 3-headed dragon. And if people remember, Will, during season 4, drew Mike a photo of them fighting a 3-headed dragon.
Yeah.
And everything Will's drawn throughout the show has been what they fight.
Yeah, if you think back to season 2 with the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And then the Mind Flayer obviously was watching them over them.
Yeah.
And then season 3 was the big, putting together basically zombies. So with episode 1 of season 3, the group were watching Day of the Dead in the movie theaters, and then tying it into the show where they're turning people into mindless zombies to be part of the fleshy, disgusting Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
That killed the best character, Billy.
But I was thinking about it, and I feel like we could see a lot of deaths in this show for one reason. And Dad, I don't want it to go this way, but in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about it recently. I feel like the ending they could go for in the show is that it's fake. And that the show has been their D&D campaign that they started at the very beginning of the show. And the reason why Will attracts all the evil things is because he's the dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons.
That's definitely an idea. Like I don't like it.
Yeah, but I thought about it recently. And I'm like, God damn, they really could go for that ending. Because I thought about it. I'm like, that's their perfect opportunity to kill as many characters as they want. Because what's the point if none of them ever actually died?
Yeah, but then do you flash to them afterwards?
I don't even know what you would do.
Like, because that's obviously, if that's a game, they're not dead.
Yeah.
So Bob's still alive. I mean, I hope I need this to end, but an ending.
Yeah.
Like a real ending.
I think 11 needs to die. That's one of my biggest things. I think Elle has to die.
She's going to have to die or lose her powers forever.
Yeah, like something sacrificial.
Yeah. I think Will's going to die.
Yeah.
And I think Will is because he's been the one that the Upside Down has grabbed onto mentally and telepathically connected to where
he's a part of it.
He feels when these creatures are around.
Yeah.
But nobody else does. So I've got to think that would be, if they did the Dungeons and Dragons route, that would be a cop out ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need a, this is happening.
Yeah.
It's real. It's fucked up. And it's just too convoluted, because then where would the Russians come in Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
It would be like this weird, you know what I mean? Like we've been doing Dungeons and Dragons for 5 years. I mean, yeah, you could. I mean, I like Dungeons and Dragons, and I played when I was younger, but
yeah,
we never had like a 3 to 5 year campaign. Usually, like maybe 3 to 5 sessions of game.
Yeah.
No LARPing though. I don't do that shit. I have friends that LARP. It's not my thing. Okay, you're not catching me dressing up for Dungeons and Dragons. So, at any rate, was that your own theory, or you feel
it was just one that I felt. What I want is for, so the vampire that you were talking about is second to command to Vecna.
Yeah, Cass, I believe.
Yeah, and so that I believe will be Eddie.
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
Because I think actually Cass is a person that is controlled by Vecna being the host.
Yeah. So it's Cass. Let's see.
And not to mention, I think the person becomes it after being bit by vampire bats, and that's what Eddie was attacked by.
Yeah, so it's Domains of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cass. It's Kas. And yeah, he is a soldier of Vecna. And he was killed by the demo bats.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's happening. And Eddie is so popular, man. You need to bring him back.
Yeah, and he's going to be a bad guy, and he's probably going to kill Dustin.
Yeah.
I don't see Dustin making it out of this. They added new characters, like younger characters. I think some of them are probably gone.
Yeah.
I want Max to die, but they're probably not going to do it. And I said that, yes. I said I want Max to die. Billy died saving her. Not even his blood sister. He didn't have to do that. He could have gone on with his life, gotten his shit back, gone out with Mike's mom, and been done with it. Okay? Maybe if he was in Mike's mom's picture and the dad was gone, the real dad, maybe the sister wouldn't be a part of an episode in the first 4 episodes where it's the disappearance of Mike's sister.
Yeah.
I forget her name. It's a disappearance of, insert her name here. They recast her, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's her sister. And if Billy were here, listening to fucking Ride the Lightning, she wouldn't disappear.
Yeah.
So someone theorized that Mike's mom could be possibly a Hawkins lab worker, because she's never really taken a side.
Yeah, and she always seems to kind of lean the boys the wrong way.
Yeah. And that it is a possibility, because it's a small community.
Yeah.
And I think Hawkins it's a made up town in Indiana. I mean, so the D&D thing could happen. I mean, it is D&D, very D&D leaning, but to me that would be a cop out ending.
Yeah.
I think either one of the 3 of Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve has to die.
John. It has to be Jonathan. Because he's the perfect character to, this dude just does not get the happy ending.
I'm going to go a different route. My prediction is Nancy.
Really? You think the 2 boys remain?
I think she is going to get in the way of one or both of them and sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
Because she split up from Steve to be with Jonathan, and then they're split up. So that...
Yeah.
Lucas, I have surviving. Unfortunately, Max. I think how do I want to word this? Her being is trapped in the upside down.
Yeah.
So they got to take that and get her consciousness back into her body.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think they're going to kill Vecna. I think what's going to happen is 11 is going to have to seal the upside down because she technically either created it or brought it to the surface. It could have already existed, which is why the Hawkins lab was there running their MK Ultra experiments.
Now, do you think Vecna will show its form as Vecna, or do you think we'll see Henry?
I think we're gonna see the final, in a Pokemon way, the final evolution of Henry Creel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we also might find out that he is 11's father. And that's why they both have these psychic abilities at the nth level.
And that's why it's 1 and 11.
Yeah. And they're at the highest, peak level of this fucking power over this other realm.
Mm-hmm.
One of them sent one there, and the other one mastered and took it over. So could go that route. You could go, people are theorizing time travel in a time loop. I don't know how feasible that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Someone theorized that Hopper is dead, and that's a clone of him, which is why he doesn't act all the way the same. I just think I'm in prison in Russia. There's fucking
I'm just
upside down shit over here. They were beating the piss out of me.
I've lost all human.
Yeah, I've had to kill people with fucking chicken wire in my bare hands at this point.
My girl I took it as my daughter is a psychic behemoth.
Yeah. And it was the result. His daughter Jane.
Yeah.
Dying, or was his daughter named Jane? No, that's 11. But someone did point out. So at during a behind the scenes, when they were at the high school, remember when everything, the ninth gate of hell opened up in Hawkins? There's a missing persons wanted, and it was Jane Hopper, and it's 11.
Yeah.
Because she disappeared. She had this. Everyone blames her one way or the other because she is the physical embodiment of what's here.
Yeah.
Eddie's gone. So they're going to look at this, and the religious fanatics, they were also addressing the satanic panic.
Yeah.
They're going to think the Hellfire Club members opened a gate
and
to
that's
hell.
Why Eddie was taken. And especially if Eddie comes back now.
Yeah. They're going to think, why do I think the basketball kid is going to think it's just Eddie, but he's possessed?
Yeah.
And he's gonna kill some people.
Mm.
Eddie's killing some people. And I think in his final moments, which will be his actual final moments, I would like to see him regain some of his humanity as he dies.
Yeah.
To just talk to the boys.
Especially Dustin.
Yeah, and to thank them for making
accepted him.
I have goosebumps just talking. For allowing him to die as him.
Yeah.
And not this.
Because, man, dude, when they killed Eddie, I was like, fuck!
He sacrificed himself, but the problem is, anything you leave in that other dimension, it's not really dead.
Yeah.
It's still, consciousnesses are flowing. Nancy saw into the upside down and went there. So did Steve.
Yeah.
But Nancy was psychically connected with Henry.
Yeah.
And it might have something to do a little bit with time, because the grandfather clock, which made my favorite sound in this whole fucking the whole show, when everything just it went backwards by a lot of hours, but at first they emphasized 3 hours.
Mm.
So And then the date in Nancy's diary in the Upside Down that they found was stuck in 1983 on the date of the first episode when Will disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like time is stuck right there. And when 11 ran away from the lab, that was a little while after she sent Henry, but she opened the portal. And now the military just built a fucking base over the portal because in the footage you clearly see.
Yeah, because God forbid, why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
it's
the floor
the US
rising
military.
up and there's just fucking hellfire underneath it. So, but what I think is going to happen if they don't kill 11 off, I think she's going to have to use everything she has and never be able to get it back of her powers to close the opening to the Upside Down forever. And by the way, you've got to take out the Russians as well that are experimenting over in Russia.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question for you, because there's another Stranger Things theory going around that this is going to be wider spread than Hawkins.
Mm.
Like this final battle is going to be essentially like
World War
III.
Mm.
Russia's going to join in because they have shit breaking over there.
But do you see Russia joining in on our side, or do you see them weaponizing what they get? Like they did with the Demogorgons.
They tried to weaponize it, and it fucked them over. So like they tried, and it turned on them.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have to work in some way in tandem with the world's armies.
Yeah.
If they go that route. If they go where this is, holy shit, you just open a rift like around the globe, like Saturn, like the ring of Saturn opened up. And what do you think that big gelatinous wall at the end is? The wall to the Upside Down? Like you have to go through that to get into it?
I think so, because they've been, remember the in the Hawkins lab, they kept showing that like just fleshy wall.
Yeah, and then the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
And they're at the farm, the dude's farm,
yeah,
where that pumpkin patch is. So there's going to be a lot of throwbacks. It's going to be what? Probably like 25 hours of programming.
Yeah.
To get through. But we're going to watch it.
Because it is a great show.
It really is. And if they do spin-offs, just please, don't kill this thing like AMC did The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Just let it end in a natural way and take its natural course. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of things that just like they can end in a good time. Like, I'm a big fan of Netflix's Cyberpunk series that they did.
Yeah.
But it's one season. But now they're teasing that they're doing something else Cyberpunk, but I really don't want it to be this story. Because this story just ended beautifully.
Yeah, it's like some shows, some comics, some movies don't know when to just end it.
Yeah.
And I do blame Hollywood because it's just a bizarre place. But I blame Hollywood because if anything does good,
they just want to do it forever.
Yes. They'll just keep putting out this spin-off, part 5, part 6, etc., and there's no need for it.
Like, I think the only reason I'm worried with the Cyberpunk Edge Runners series is it didn't end happily. It was just a fucking just heart-wrenching ending.
Yeah, it's like the type of ending where it should be the end.
It was
right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Basically, like, the whole story is about a kid who he loses his mom. And he wants to prove that his family can do right. But he goes way too far with it and loses himself. To the point where now the only person who loves him has to get rid of him.
Oh, and do you think the dragon in the picture that Will drew is the Thessal Hydra?
Yeah.
They're going to use that as... And do you think we're going to see it?
I think so. I think they've got enough money.
They got to go big. They got to go out big, man. They really do.
And I mean, hey, Millie Bobby Brown's no stranger to kaiju.
No, she fought King Ghidorah. That's also a 3-headed dragon.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it. I really am. I just wanted to talk enough about that tonight as well as wrestling, because Stranger Things just really, from start to where we got so far, there were some clunky episodes along the way. But all in all, the lore, the canon of the show is quality. The acting, for the most part, is quality. So I do look forward to Thanksgiving, not only for food and football, but now for this.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great. So I'm psyched. But anything else you want to speak on before we wrap?
I mean, tomorrow's the Switch 2.
Yeah. And you're off, right?
Yeah, we're finally here.
You're off from work.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
It's a weird, bittersweet feeling.
Yeah.
I grew up prominently with the Switch. And I made a lot of memories and made a lot of friends during that console generation. I mean, I was in high school. Like, pretty much everybody, like, your younger life, that's the most pivotal moment of your young life.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see it end. I'll say, I think if I had to give my top 3 memories, one was obviously getting the console. Playing Breath of the Wild after waiting like 5 years for that game was an awesome feeling. Then I would say I gotta leave the one I'm thinking of in my head for number 1.
Yeah.
I'd say number 2 was making it as far now into Pokemon as I am now, where I can compete in tournaments and I can be invited to things that not a lot of people get to say they can be.
Yeah.
And number 1, it's the easiest one, Smash Brothers. It created the best memories I've ever had of high school. Nothing beat Smash Ultimate coming out. My friends and I watching every direct the morning and night that they turned on during the summer and getting so hyped. And then launch week, all we used to do is just sit on our ass and play Smash for hours at sleepovers.
Yep.
And it's just, it's crazy to think that I get to experience my first ever generation of consoles as an adult. But it's also weird because making memories like that with other people is not as easy as when you were a kid.
No, because, I mean, you got, obviously life things.
Yeah.
Work, college.
But I'm excited. I hope this generation is just as good as the Switch, because I do think the Switch is the greatest one of all time.
I'm just ready for Mario. Are we playing some Mario Kart this weekend?
Yeah.
That's why I love Mario Kart.
I know. I can't believe we're getting a new one. It's been 11 years.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we're going to wrap it up. Get pizza fired up for Dynamite. And we'll be back here Sunday talking more wrestling and maybe a little football. I'll sprinkle some in. And if we hear any more like wacky theories about Stranger Things 5, we'll talk about that too. We will be also, myself, Mama Bo, and what can I call your girlfriend for the show?
I don't even know. That's a good question.
Girl Bo. No, that's weird. How about I don't know what to call it, but Bo's lady.
Yeah.
But we'll call it Bo's sweet lady. Hi, Zach Hubbard. We'll call her Bo's sweet lady, where all 4 of us are going to go see 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
And we will review it. We will give you our theories. It's the first in a trilogy. Should be good. Danny Boyle is on board. Cillian Murphy is going to be in some capacity in if not all 3, at least 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So Jim is going to be in there. There's different levels of infected now, so it's going to be a good one. We will review it after we see it. It comes out June 20th. So this one, I think this is going to be a big opening.
Yeah.
For in the movies.
I hope.
My fingers are crossed. I was right about Minecraft, but you'd have to be a moron to think Minecraft
was going to fail.
Yeah. This is Zorgog signing out from Pop Culture Punch Out 100. And I'm going to let Bo do his thing.
And bid you adieu with a goodbye mwah, and good night bang.
Peace.